All right. Hi guys. How are you? I hope you're doing well. It's raining right now. Today's our first official lesson, I guess you can say. So we'll see how this goes. Still playing around with different things as far as getting the curriculum to you guys. But I think these YouTube videos are going to be really good because you can, play it, pause it, watch it again, rewatch it. So we'll see. And planning on doing some FaceTime with you guys later this week. We're going to schedule that and hopefully do a Zoom conference thing where we can all meet up together and possibly do some lessons there, just talk and hang out virtually. Okay? All right. So today we are doing lesson 54, which is the calendar and rounding numbers to the nearest thousand. So let's go over the calendar. We know that there are 365 days of the year, right? Except on a leap year, which is an extra day in February. And lo and behold, this year is a leap year, right? So in February, there's 29 days. A year is divided into 12 months. We know the months of the year. Do we want to sing the months of the year? Let's do it. January, February, March, and April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February again. All right. So remember that a decade is 10 years. And remember that we can remember that a decade, like a decade of the rosary, it's 10 beads. A century is 100 years. Let's see. So for our example number 1 in our math lesson 54, how many days did December have? Well, remember that trick that we remembered where it's you count the knuckles, which are 31 days, and then inside is 30 days. So if you did that, you did January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and then again the knuckle, August, because July and August both have 31 days. July 31st, Mrs. Romero's birthday. August, September, October, November, December. December right here, which is the knuckle, that is 31 days. Let's see. For example, number 2. According to this calendar, May 10th, 2014, what day of the week is it? So you can look on your book and you'll see that May 10th is on a Saturday. Example number 3. How many years were there from 1620 to 1776? If you think about this, you need to figure out how many years are in between, which turns out to be a subtraction problem. All right, so let's do this subtraction problem together. All right, so 1776 and 1620. The number that goes on the top is always the higher number. So if we did 1776 minus the year 1620. Oh, well, you guys like how I use green? Can you see that? Okay. All right, so 6 minus 0 is 6. 7 minus 2 is 5. 7 minus 6 is 5. Not 5, Mrs. Romero. 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. So your answer would be 156 years. Okay? All right. So let's erase that. This is different using a smaller whiteboard than using a bigger whiteboard. All right. So the next part of our lesson 54 is rounding numbers to the nearest thousand. All right. So we know about rounding numbers. Remember that it tells us to look at the number next to it, right? So if we had to round to the nearest thousand, let's put an example here, 3,421. All right, so if we had 3,421, if we're rounding numbers to the nearest thousand, we need to look at the thousands place. So it's ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. So here's our thousands, right? But do we look at our thousands? Nope. We look at the number next to it. Remember this one right here? If it is 5 or higher, this number is going to go up. If it's 4 or lower, this number stays the same, and these all turn to 0. But again, remember that we can do a number line, right? We can do a number line. So we put 3,000 here, and the next one would be 4,000 here. And right in the middle would be 3,500. So we can do this. We're going to do both ways. Or we can also do a number line. Let's do the number line first. So if I had 3,421, it would be about right here, 3,421. So that would be closest to 3,000, right? Let's do the other way. All right, so we're looking at the 4. If it's 4 or lower, this turns to zeros, right? It stays at 4. Or if it's 5 or higher, this number turns into the higher number, right? So if we looked here, the 4 lower, that means that it turns into 3,000. That is rounding to the nearest 1,000. Let's do a few more examples before you press pause and do some examples for yourself. If you have any questions, remember you can always message me through Class Dojo. I am available for you guys, and I can help you in any way. All right, so example number 5 tells us to round this number, 34,186. All right, now we are only looking at the thousands, right? So here's our 1,000, 4,000. But, we need to look at this number, right? This number is here. Again, if it's 5 or higher, this is going to go up. If it's 4 or lower, it stays the same. Should we do a timeline? Number line. Let's do a number line. All right. Okay. So first we put 34,000 here. And the next one would be 35,000. In the middle, we put 34,500 because that's in the middle. All right, 34,186. That's going to be about here, 34,186. Where is it closest to? 34,000 or 35,000? That is closer to 34,000. So if you had to round this number, 34,186 to the nearest 1,000, it would be 34,000. Let's do the other way. If it's 5 or higher, it goes up. If it's 4 or lower, it stays the same. So this is 4 or lower. That means that all these would turn into zeros. So it would be 34,000, right? Okay. So now what I want you to, nope, just kidding. Let's do the last example. Example number 6 says round 5,486. Ooh, this says round it off to the nearest 1,000. To the nearest 100. Oh, now you're going to use all your skills. But I know that you will all know this because you guys are awesome and you've been rounding for a long time. All right, so 5,486 to the nearest 1,000. All right, so again, here we go. We look at the 1,000, but we look to the number to the right, 4. 5 or higher, it goes up 1. 4 or lower, stays the same. 4 or lower, this stays the same. Therefore, it is 5,000. Right? Now, round to the nearest 100. Okay, we're done with you thousands. Now we're here for the hundreds, right? This is the hundreds. We look to the number to the right. If it's 4 or lower, it stays 400. If it's 5 or higher, it goes to 500. So in this case, it's 5 or higher. That means that this turns into 5,500. That's running off to the nearest 100. Now to the nearest 10. We are done with you. Hundreds, thank you. To the nearest 10. Here we go. To the 8. What number do we need to look at? This number right there. The 6, right? So 5 or higher, this turns into a 9. 4 or lower, this stays the same. This turns into a 0. So 5, the 6 is a 5 or higher. So that means that the 8 changes into a 9, changes into a 9, and this changes into a 0, and the rest of it stays the same. 5,490. All right, so what I want you to do is I want you to pause in a little bit. You're going to pause and we're going to go over all the lesson practice. And so we'll pause it right now, and then I'm going to write up the answers for the lesson practice, okay? All right, go ahead and press pause now. All right, welcome back. Lesson practice set. Letter A, how many days are in a leap year? We talked about it, 366 days. Letter B, according to the calendar in example 2, what is the date of the 4th Friday of the month? That is May 23rd, 2014. How many years were there from 1918 to 1943? The answer is 25 years. A century is how many decades? 10 decades. All right. And for rounding each number, 6,746. You are rounding them up to the nearest 1,000. That would be, here's 1,000, but you look at the 7, 5 or higher, it goes up. So this would be 7,000. How'd you do? All right, awesome. Letter B, 5,280. Here's 1,000, but we look at the 2. It means 4 lower. So all of this, so it stays the same, 5,000, but these 2 turn into zeros. Again, if you're having trouble, do the number line. That would be very helpful for you if you're having trouble with this one. Letter C, 12,327. Rounding off to the nearest 1,000. Here's the 3, 4 or lower. This all stays the same, but these turn into 0. Nope, just kidding. Mrs. Romero did this one incorrectly. See? We all make mistakes, right? This actually, it's not running. What I realized is that I rounded it to the nearest 100, but we're doing thousands. So if this is 4 or lower, this stays the same, the 1,000 stays the same, and all these turn into zeros. So it would be 12,000. I'm sorry if I've confused you. I'm new at this also, doing this live, or I guess not live, but through video. All right, next one, 21,694. Here's my thousands, but I look at this one here. It's a 6. That means that this needs to go up to the next one, which would be 22, and then all of them turn into zeros. It's hurting my hand. Okay, letter E, 9,870. Here's my thousands, but I look at my hundreds. 5 or higher, that means this goes up. This is 10,000. Letter F, A, B, C, D, E, F. Where are you? Can't see you. Oh, Mrs. Romero, are you doing this incorrectly? A, B, C, yes. I'm sorry, I realized that the roundings are all different numbers. Different letters. So let's forget about this part here. And hopefully you have been able to follow along with the rounding. Okay, so the next one is 27,462. Here's my thousands, but I look at the next number. It's 4 or lower. That means that the 7 stays the same and everything else turns into zeros. If you checked it on a number line, you'd understand, right? Yes. Okay. Let's see. Okay, round 6,472 to the nearest thousand, to the nearest hundred, and to the nearest 10. All right, 3 parts to this question. Round 6,472. All right, first to the nearest thousand. So here's thousand, but I look at the next, my hundreds. If it's 4 or lower, this stays the same, so it'd be 6,000. Done with the thousands. Now I need to round it to the nearest hundreds. Here's my hundreds, but I look at my tens. That's a 5 or higher. That means that the 4 turns into a 5, and these turn into a 0. Now to my tens. Here's my tens. 2, 4 or lower, it's a 0. It would be turn into a 0. This one stays the same. So 6,470. 6,470. All right. There is our math lesson for today. Again, if you need some individual help or if you just need help in general, I am available. I can do some more videos for this. I can possibly FaceTime with you guys if your parents consent with that. Consent, vocabulary word. And we will do our best to continue with these daily lessons. Next up, I'm going to record a video of me reading our book, our read aloud, I Am Malala, so that you guys can, get into a comfy place. I'm going to sit on my couch here and I have here in the office, and I'm going to read the first chapter for you, so that you can enjoy and continue with our read aloud. Okay? All right. Take care.